Hey folks, this is Picohan from the North American server, and today we have a replay with the Emerald. The map is Trident. It is the Epicenter game mode, and a shout out to my buddy QQ Moore in the Koenig. So, the Emerald is widely considered to be not a very good ship, and I'm not going to disagree with that. It's a little bit lacking in gunpowder, but it does have a lot of torps. So what I want to show in this replay is basically a situation where you can make use of the Emerald's advantages. So in general, what you want to do with the British cruisers is a bit like the American. You kind of want to hug islands, but it's kind of for a different reason. Whereas in the American cruisers, you're hugging an island because that's your main form of protection. With the British cruisers, you kind of want to do it to get an escape route. Your main form of protection in the British cruiser, it is the smoke, but before you smoke and after the smoke expires, you don't want to be detected. Some people seem to have the idea that, like, you smoke after you're spotted. I think in the British cruisers, it's very important actually to anticipate when you're going to come into contact with the enemy and smoke preemptively. If people see you slow down and smoke, it's very easy to hit you in that smoke, and you really want to avoid that. One of the other things you can do is move around the smoke, but of course, in that precise moment when you're stopping after you smoke, after you've been spotted, it's again very easy to hit. So here you can see I messed up. The Fiji spotted me, I hit the smoke, and then I realized, oh, it's a Fiji, so he smoked up as well. You can see I'm trying to blind fire where I thought he was, but even though I saw him, this is very difficult. So luckily the Nelsons start to show up here. I can try to land some shots on them. You can see I am moving back and forth slightly in the smoke, but no one's shooting at me, so it's not really that big of an issue. So even though there's no one actually spotted, I'm staying in the smoke because I do have a quick escape route due to the island behind me, and you don't really want to waste your smoke, so to speak, because you don't really have that many. Again, luckily, the destroyer shows himself, and he doesn't seem to have last stand, so we're going to try to take him out. Fighting destroyers is one thing the British cruisers are very good at. They have, much like the British battleships, a short fuse AP, which means that on destroyers, it's very unlikely to overpen. You get full pens, and that does a lot of damage to the destroyers. So I was spotted there as I tried to shoot at the Fiji and the Nelson, but because I had this island, I was able to back up around it and avoid taking any damage. Creeping forward here, I'm trying to shoot at the Nelson, either without being detected or without letting him shoot back at me. But you can really see the anemic gunpowder of the Emerald means I'm not getting that many shots, and then all my shots are bouncing or shattering and so on and so forth. Once again, this is a little bit of a mistake. What I wanted to do was move up. One of the problems with the Emerald is that it has very short range, and you have to get close for you to be able to do anything. And there you can see the danger of smoking up after you've been spotted. I kind of panic smoked because I didn't think I would get detected, and the Nelson blapped me because he knew exactly how I was slowing down. Luckily, another feature of the British cruisers is the heal, so it's not too bad of a situation, especially if you consider that you shouldn't be taking damage unless you've screwed up. So if I don't screw up again, it should be okay. So now as the Nelson is pushing toward me, we can try to farm some damage, but it's not looking that good. So you can think of playing the Emerald kind of like you would play a low-tier American destroyer. You use your smoke, you shoot from your smoke, and if people try to push into you, you've got all those torps, and I believe you have 2 sets of 4 on each side. So I unloaded one side on the further away Nelson, and I'm going to unload the other on the closer Nelson. Here, I quickly noticed I made a mistake. I shouldn't really have sent those torps at the Nevny. Luckily, he was fast enough to outrun him, and he gets blapped anyways. So I'm really close to the Nelsons here, but since I have this island between me and them, and they have to push around this island to get to me, I can kind of wait here until my torps come back up again, and if they try to push, I can launch those torps. You realize here that the reason this is working is because those Nelsons have to push us. If you look at the score, we took out all 3 of their destroyers. I took out one of them even, very early on, and we were getting control of the epicenter. So they realized that they need to do something. On one hand, maybe they could have waited a little bit longer, tried to kill some of the other ships before coming for us. But I guess they felt like they really needed to make a move at that point. They did, and I happened to be in the right place to hold them off. So there you can see my other set of torps landed on the second Nelson, and now they are both gone. So once again, especially without a carrier, this is a little bit dicier with a carrier. Without a carrier to spot, the Emerald can be very hard to push around if you've got some island cover, much like destroyers. That's kind of the point. So with both the Nelsons gone, and with our team in control of the epicenter, this game is pretty much over. So I don't think I'm going to do any more damage here, and I'm going to fast forward to the end. So looking at the personal results here, there is nothing special, no achievements, blah, blah, blah. If we look at the team list, we are 3rd on the team, but we did manage to beat a mid-tier OPG2 division and a top-tier CBR division, which is something in the Emerald. And looking at the damage, this is actually where it's pretty interesting. The The 17,000 from the main gun seems pretty anemic, and I'll admit it's a really tiny number, but you've also got to remember that on the North American server, the Emerald averages something like 20,000 damage. The 55,000 from Torps is, of course, extraordinary. I won't deny that it is hard to get the Emerald into a position where you can really take advantage of this. But hopefully, if you know what to look for, it'll make it a little bit easier. And so that's the Emerald. Have a nice day.